said before, we are so happy that you all are joining us today. First and foremost, because we know what it's like to be in these shoes. Obviously, being an RD right now. But prior to being here, I worked at Clemson University as an RD there for 2 years. Before that, I went to Merrill College in East Tennessee, and I was an RA there. So I spent 2 years as an RA over there working with students just like you all are hoping to do, like some of you are already doing. And I really speak to the transformative part of this and also the necessity we have for people like this. So thank you for showing up with us today.
And can everybody bring back there?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just use this.
Yep.
And I was in your exact shoes, I don't know how many years ago at this point, but maybe 5. I was a Belmont student myself. I was an RA here for 2 years. I worked in Kennedy Hall before I graduated and became an RA. So I'm in an RD. And so Belmont residence life has been a big chunk of my life so far and my experience. And this experience has definitely transformed me, which is why I'm still here now. And so I'm excited for all of you. And again, thank you for coming. And so, without further ado, we will have our fearless leader, our Associate Dean of Students and Director of Residence Life, Dr. Anthony Donovan, come up and speak to you about the significance of this position.
It's the only time I get applause is before I hire you. Once I hire you, then I'll get applause. Can you hear the way in the back today? Because I would prefer not to have to use my phone if I can. I'll move closer if you need to. My name is Anthony Donovan. I'm the Director of Residence Life and Associate Dean of Students here at Belmont. It's been my great privilege to do that for the last 18 years. I know I don't look like I'm that old, but it's true. I will make jokes, so feel free to laugh. I ask this question every year, and I'm going to ask the same one to you because I know it's just true to me. That I'm a big believer that most people, there's lots of reasons why people want to be an RA, the money, the glamour, the fame, all the free t-shirts that we give out. But at the end of the day, there really probably is only really one reason that most people become an RA. It's because they either had a good RA or they had a bad RA and they wanted to be either the opposite of that or do something totally like them. So just out of curious, how many of you applied, and there's no right answer to this, but how many of you applied because you had a good RA? How many of you applied? I promise you, unless they're in the room, don't raise your hand because I don't know how to tell people. But how many of you are applying because you have a bad RA or had a bad RA? You want to be like that? I appreciate that honesty. It's true, but you notice how few of those numbers are. I'm supposed to talk about the significance of the RA position. I offered them not for me to talk at all, but they said, yeah, go ahead and do it. I think they're just placating because of the laws. But I want to talk about a couple things. I was an RA. I was an RA here. I was at another school. I was talking to a fine man from Pembroke, from Maddox up here. So almost insulted you, didn't mean to. But I'm going to talk about it and ask where I was an RA at. And I was an RA at Meridian College in Kentucky. I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but I didn't get it the first time. I would have been easy to give up on that and just say, well, they don't want me. But I became more determined than ever to try to do that, try to figure out what it is that I needed to grow in, what I needed to demonstrate to people so that I could be hired. And guess what? I got hired the next year. It changed my life. And here I am, 20-something years later, in charge of Residence Life. When I was thinking about that, I'm reminded about a little bit about life. I'm a little older than you, not much, but a little bit. Sounds good. You like a place where I just put up a holder and sit after. And I realized something, that life is often made up of moments. It's not the only thing that makes our life happen, but there are times where we have these moments that have profound effects on our life. And there are things that we sometimes make decisions quickly. And every one of you has probably dated or a guy or a girl that you made a quick decision on that you probably should have spent a little extra time thinking about, right? Or I don't know, maybe you all been dating anymore. I'm old. Sometimes we meet people in circumstances that are surprising and unique or unexpected. You might have met the person that's going to be your best man or maid of honor in your wedding, maybe here already. maybe it's your roommate. Chances are they're not. Maybe it's next year's roommate. Maybe you did an internship that changed your entire direction of your career, what you were coming here for, and you decided that you're going to do something else. Maybe you met that person will be your spouse, your husband or your wife later here already. Maybe you don't know that yet. I hope you don't know that yet. Maybe you do. Maybe you have this moment where you're going to meet someone who's going to be your friend for life. And you don't know that yet. Maybe you've had that moment where you're going to agree to an activity or be part of something that will open up the world to things that you never knew. I think the RA position is one of those moments. I think it's such one of those moments that we spend a lot of our energy in our recruitment of people. We're not necessarily recruiting people as much as we're trying to help people make the informed decision about what an RA is. We have more people that want to be an RA than we can ever hire. Don't be dissuaded by that. This should be a moment, I hope, for most of you to think about whether I want to do this and whether, because I really do believe that there are a few things that are more powerful in college experience than being an RA. And all I have to do to prove that is how many of you are here because you had a good RA? Raise your hands again. Look around how many people are up there. If you need to have a look at what the power of a good RA, the effect also as well as a bad RA, you just have to look around the room and see that there's powerful things. I'm not sure, and I oversee orientation, and I have teaching leaders are great, I love them too. They're wonderful people, they're very transformative people too. But even they don't seem to have the power that RAs can have. Because we get a whole year with people. We get to create these little sub-communities on our floors. I was just talking to the guys from the first floor of Maddox, and they were talking about what a vibe there is in the first floor. I suspect that's true of lots of places. Certainly the first floor is very unique. As they told me, they were cool. Being an RA is more than just signing up for a job. It's something that's very different. It's something I describe it as a way of being. And I think those of you who really it resonates with will understand that. How many of you are the person that's sort of the social director of your crew of people? You know, you're the social director. Yeah, okay. How many of you are the people that people come to for advice? How many of you people are helping people when they're homesick? Yeah. How many of you are the people that look out for everybody else before yourself? You know, you're holding back people's hair. No, we don't ever do that here. There's no reason that we don't ever be holding people's hair. I'm not suggesting that those are the only things that an RA does, but those are you might be an RA and don't even know it already. It might be your way of being. It may be the way that you interface with the world. We're looking for people who being an RA is their way of being. That resonates with who they are. I watch body language a lot of times when I'm talking to people, and I always can tell when I hit with somebody. So I always appreciate that and every once in a while I can tell when I'm hitting somebody in the room that I didn't expect to hit. And I can tell that whatever we're saying is sort of identifying with them. And and one of the things that almost inevitably says is when I say to people, it's sort of their way of being. So it doesn't mean that you can't be a great RA without that, but it certainly might be a hint that this is the right thing for you. This has to be a decision that you make as much as a decision that we make about you. If it doesn't work that way, it will never work for us, for you or for us. You won't be able to get the experience that you need to. You have to make a decision to want to be an RA. And as much as we have to make a decision that you won't perform, to be honest, at your capability if you don't go into it with that knowledge. We want RAs who want an RA to be their thing. That doesn't mean that we can't have evolved RA, people who do other things. We want that. But to be honest, as we go along and we see the needs of people, the thing that we really want is we want people who being an RA is their thing. Yeah, they can do some other things, but we want them to be an RA first. We want you to be student first. That's very important. But after that, being an RA is your thing. Because part of being an RA is being around. You said Walker was your RA? He's around, right? A lot. Yeah. That makes it different. Being there, it's a huge part of the job. And wanting to be there is even more of a part of the job. If you're not there and you're not available, it doesn't matter how good you are at everything else. If you can't be there for us, then there's no point in having to be an RA. So you might have to make some decisions about your availability. You know, you may have to trade some things for others. And let's be honest, let's be fair. If you don't want to trade those things, don't. But don't be an RA. We don't want your sort of half-assed effort, to be honest. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it honestly. We want people who want their RA to be their thing. It's a great thing. I'm really proud of one of the best things about my job is I work with these amazing people who are my RDs. We spend more time trying to select them than we even do with our RAs. We spend a lot of energy because one of the best things that I say all the time, they're probably tired of hearing about it, but what I am most proud about our staff is that they're wonderful human beings. They're people who have chosen to commit themselves to other people and their growth and development, particularly college-age students, but particularly the people who are RAs. They're not perfect. In some cases, they're learning how to do some of those same things, but you will never work for a place or people who want you to grow and become what you are supposed to be more than the people that we have working here in a residence life as RDs. But it does mean that you have to make that choice to engage them, to be a part of what they are offering to you. Because if you don't want it, there's plenty of people who do, and we're one of these people that we're going to give to the people that want that energy. Because we think it's fair. If you're excited and you want to be grown, we don't want someone else to suck the energy away that we could be giving to you to grow. So it's really important that we make the right decision, but also that you make the right decision to be an RA. Only hired Christian RAs. I think we were right when we did that, but I also think we've also changed a lot as a university. But I would tell you that we have students who are not Christian. We have lots of them that are not. If you ask them what the number one denomination of students would be, it'd be, I don't know. Most of our students are figuring this out because they have the faith of their family, but they're also now trying to figure out what does that mean for them. You know, we hire RDs and staff members that are all Christian, as far as like professional staff members. We do that because we believe that we want people to talk about what being a Christian and working with young people is meant to be. But it isn't the only thing. But we do believe that faith in some form is important to the position of the RA. It's not Christian faith, but this ability to have a sense of something bigger than yourself. Because to be really honest, that's what the RA position is. It's something that's bigger than yourself. You are one RA, you represent so many things to the people on that floor. But you're also a part of something bigger. You're part of representing the university's beliefs and the things that values, and you're their representation of that. And it's important to have the ability to do that. One of the things that's important to the university is faith. Why? Because I think people need people to know that they're not alone, that they have questions too. I don't need you to be this person that has everything figured out about your faith. I'm 46, I don't know either. I know I have more questions than I have answers. That's what I'll tell you. I don't know if that discourages you as you get older, but I actually take a lot of comfort in that. For me, I would tell you that that's the basis of faith, is having more questions than answers and knowing that you still believe. Whatever it is that you believe. But I need you to be able to help people figure that out for themselves. And I need you to make sure that they don't feel alone. Because I'm a big believer that most of this function in the world, it starts with people feeling like they're the only one out there. And it's so important for RAs to be able to live that and articulate that. Maybe your faith is, as I'm struggling with that, but I want somebody to be able to articulate that with them. Because you don't know. Because you may not talk about faith every day, every week, every month at Belmont, but you have to be ready to. That's what we want from RAs. The last thing I mentioned is, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it. I'm going to have somebody share their example a little bit more, but you may not get the job the first go around, as I mentioned. You might be an alternate. It's not a bad thing. We've gone through how many alternates? 23 this year. I think we have 2 left. So we've hired 21 of our alternates roughly. Forgive me if my numbers are a little bit off. I know it's a lot. You might start off as being an alternate. You're probably more than likely to be an RA. Why? Because we expect a lot out of our staff, our RAs. We want them to be excellent. We're so committed to being excellent for you. We want you to be excellent that we're willing to be committed to be excellent ourselves. We spend energy and time in hiring the right kinds of people so that they can grow and build you. And we want you to be excellent. We want it so much that we're willing to be excellent ourselves. So much so that we're going to spend energy and time to make sure that we say, we want you to make this decision carefully and make it for you. Being an RA is not for everyone. That doesn't mean that there aren't other things for you. And there's nothing wrong with deciding that I don't want to be an RA. In fact, my only thing is, it's nothing wrong with realizing you're a bad RA. It's just not being one, continuing to be one. You can change or you can quit. Sometimes sometimes. But we go through a lot of people because they find that out, that, hey, maybe an RA isn't for me. Or maybe they're struggling with balancing all the things that an RA does with the things that they have to do as a student. It is one of the hardest things that I have to do when I have to let an RA go because they can't meet the grades that we have there. We believe grades are really important. Look, I was a better student because I was an RA, but I could have, if I had been able to apply that same energy to my studies, I might have been an even better student. But I love being an RA and it gave me the incentive to be a better student. For some of you, that's the case, but I can promise you that we care deeply enough about you that we want you to be successful academically, even if it means you can't be an RA for us. Don't take that as something we're trying to punish you with. I promise you, it's something that we think we would be cheating you if we said to you, well, your grades don't matter. Your parents would thank us for making sure that you graduate in 4 years or 5 years or 6 years, whatever it might be. But we want you to walk across that stage, whether you're an RA or not. And we care that much about you to hold you accountable to that and to make sure that, because the RA job is hard. It's not impossible. It has more rewards than the cost, for sure. But those costs sometimes loom larger. They get in the way of some of the things that make it hard to be a student. Go into that with that thinking that in mind, that understanding that it's hard to be an RA, that it can affect your ability to be successful as a student if you're not cognizant about it, you're not aware of it, if you don't put things in place to sort of do that. Don't make that decision lightly, because I don't want to see any of you fail because you couldn't make the grades that you needed to in order to be an RA. I've seen people's entire academic careers sort of derailed by being an RA when they probably shouldn't have been. It's hard. At the same time, if you are an RA for us, we have access. You have access to us. You're the people. If we can't help you, how can we help anybody? We see you. We know you. We have people devoted to you. That their job is to help you be successful. They can't do that if they don't know what's going on. You're going to be this. You're going to apply for be all in. That means be all in for your grades and the kind of relationship that we can have with each other for your residents. Choose to do this willingly. Make this a very informed decision. I am so very excited for all of you. I think you'll learn a lot in our process, even if you don't get the right position. You'll learn a lot about yourself, where you are, what you need to grow in. But I'm very excited. I'm very thankful that you think enough of our work to want to be part of it. This is my favorite thing that I get to do just about every year is to talk to other people who are excited about being an RA. That in the beginning of the year, that's when you'll know I can miss it. So I want to wish you luck. I wish we could hire everybody who wanted to be an RA. Unfortunately, that just won't be the case. But I want to wish everyone luck. I want to make sure they can make the best decision. I'm going to turn it over to Darian, who's going to talk a little bit more about her experience as an RA, as an alternate. Because look at her, she's an alternate, started out. Now look at her. She's already. Thank you again. Thank you all.
I won't speak for long, but I just want to tell you a little bit about my experience in residence life here at Belmont. So like Anthony said, my name is Darian Hamlin. I was an RA in Russell Hall in 2014, the first year it opened. And now I'm the current RD of Wright Hall. So yay, I love that. And so, but yeah, my journey started as an RA alternate. And I'll tell you that when I was first offered the position, I was a little skeptical. They told me all the things that they should have been telling me, and they were correct, but I was still skeptical about what they were saying. But each year we have more qualified candidates than we have spaces for, and as Anthony mentioned, we know that there's going to be spaces that come available throughout the year. So we hire all our alternates. So, and then that means that at any point you could be called up to be an RA basically. And so it's a really, really meaningful experience. And I'm here to tell you as an RD that you shouldn't be skeptical about the things that we tell you if you are selected as an RA alternate, because that means we see something special in you and we want you to be an RA. It means that we see that you are adaptable and that you're flexible and that you have the skills that we need from you to be an RA, and that we know that we can develop you into a successful student leader. Being adaptable is one of the best ability skills that you can develop during your years in school, and that's something that our position offers for sure. You also get to step in to a difficult situation. You get to but challenging in a good way. You get to be the person that steps in when someone needs someone, and that's an incredibly fulfilling opportunity for you guys. And also, I'm here to just tell you that our RA alternates are valued members of our team. And so we really respect them, and we're so thankful for them when they're able to step in to those positions. So remember that if you are offered an RA alternate position, it's not a failure, it doesn't reflect negatively on you at all. It means that we see something special in you. And now we're gonna learn more about the RA position. So thanks for your time.
Okay, so now we'll have a few reflections from some of our current RAs. And so we have Landon Wolford from Tall Hall, who's coming up. We have Kobe Langner from Belmont Commons, and then Elizabeth Bordulis from Hillside. So.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Good. So, as Justin said, I'm Landon Wolford. I work in Tall Hall. Formerly worked in Pembroke, for all my Pembrokes back there. So I'm here to just talk briefly about programming. Programming is the fun part of the job as I see it. It's where you get to really develop yourself, develop your skills and talents, and also develop your relationships with other people in your building, on your floor, with your residents. And then it also provides a way for us to serve in the community along with our peers. It's a very transformative experience in Res Life. I can remember back to my freshman year, I did Pembroke Night Live when I lived there, and I remember everyone that I was in that performance with, and I remember exactly the skits that we did and how much of an effect it had on me. And then recently we just did our duck race where Dr. Fisher and senior leadership officiated race a bunch of little rubber ducks down Bruin Creek, and it's just a good way to really engage with your community and be able to look back and say, oh, I did that, or I was a part of that, and really made college home and make where you're living just very beneficial to your overall experience. And so they're going to talk about other parts of the job, but I think that's one of the most fun and something you should definitely pour into.
Hey guys, my name's Kobe. I'm a third-year RA, so I've worked in Maddox Hall and Patton, and now I'm in Belmont Commons, so I've kind of been all over the place. But I'm talking about community building, and I really think it's impossible to oversell community building because it's such an essential aspect of being an RA, and in some way it touches everything that you do. And it's challenging in a sense because you have your own unique identity and personalities and community building techniques that you bring, and then you just get 30 random people and they're like, create a community from this, and you're like, how do I do that? So you really have to be adaptable, like Darian was saying, and kind of be an observer of the culture that's there and create something to unite the residents on your floor. Like in Maddox, it was our dinky ping pong table that we all pulled money for, and then like in Patton, we had like spike balls. So like all these little things and little techniques you can use to unite a community in terms of like you building community with your residents. And then there's also a sense in which you have community with your staff, which is also one of the most valuable aspects of the job, I think, is that you have community that you're building with your residents, but at the same time you're doing this job within community. So I think that community is one of the most essential aspects of being an RA, and also one of the most rewarding things about being an RA, and it's really at the heart of our job. So yeah, that's community building.
Hey y'all, I'm Elizabeth. I'm a third year. I spent the first 2 years in Belmont Commons, and now I'm in Hillside. So I'm going to talk really quickly about administrative tasks. So this is seen as the maybe not so fun part of the job. I personally like it, but it's definitely the things that you have to do in order to get to the fun stuff like programming, community building, and things like that. So basically what that consists of is desk hours, duty shifts, paperwork and deadlines and safety procedures and staff meetings and one-on-ones, which is a really fun thing. One-on-ones are a time with your RD once a week that they spend 1 hour just talking to you in their office. It's really casual, and it's one of my favorite things because there's very few times in your life where you're going to have one adult who is just a couple years older than you, who's a very quality individual, who is taking time to invest in you for 1 hour each week and to pour into you, and that's been something that's been really beneficial in my life, and that one of my favorite parts of the week. So yeah, administrative tasks all in all are something that might seem like a more boring part of the job. Definitely great resume builders, good growing experiences and definitely necessary in order to get to all the fun stuff that the RA position entails. So, yeah, thank you.
We give one more round of applause to our Okay, so now we're going to move to talking a bit more specifically about what it takes and what we're looking for in this RA application process. From Anthony to our RAs and Darian, they spoke on a lot of these topics already, and so I just want to hone in on them specifically about some of the things that are important to us as the Res Life staff and when we select our RAs. And so we have our 6 competencies that we're looking for in each stage of the application. The first piece is availability. Again, this is a job that requires you to be present, both mentally and physically. And so what are your responsibilities for this next year? Are you available? Can you be present? Then we have professionalism. And so are you able to present yourself professionally? Again, we will have both the application that requires detail. If you get invited to the further stages, you will be presenting yourself to the staff. And so are you able to be professional in those spaces? And then translating to the position, you will be working in customer service with your residents and different guests across campus. And so are you able to interact with them and handle yourself in a professional manner? Then we have good motivations. And so what are your reasons for coming here today? What are your reasons for pursuing this position? And again, there are various benefits that come with this position. And as Anthony mentioned, the RA position is challenging. It is hard. And so some days it will be very difficult. You have a difficult night. You have a challenging situation with a student. And then what is going to keep you moving the next day? And honestly, it has to be more than the pay or the room grant. It has to be something deeper and a deeper reason for why you do this work. And then community development. Again, as Kobe mentioned, it is an integral part of this position. And so we're interested in what ways have you been, how do you think about community? And also what ways have you been investing in the communities that you have found yourself in your college experience so far. Then we have personal belief. Again, as Anthony said, we don't require anyone to be of any specific faith, but are you able to articulate what you believe? And are you able to interact with folks that believe things differently than yourself? And then finally, we have resiliency. Again, the RA position is hard, and so there will be challenging times in the position. You'll be given tasks that might be beyond your skill set. Maybe it might be administrative things, and it will challenge you to learn, to reflect, and grow, and get better at those things. And then also we recognize that as RAs, you are students and people as well. And so there will be things going on in your life as well. And so how are you able to navigate and persevere through those personal things also? Know when to set aside time, know when to step back, know when to take care of yourself and persevere through this position. And so to summarize that into 3 things that we are looking for throughout the application process to show yourself as the best candidate. Again, we need you to accurately represent your availability. We need you to take the online application seriously and answer all questions to the best of your ability. And then finally, we need you to come prepared and professional to the group process day and individual interview sessions.
Alrighty, so to get into the meat and potatoes of everything that you can take away from this meeting, hardcore days that we have in line. First and foremost, the application opens up on Monday, November 19th. So that is the day when you can begin applying. The applications will be due Wednesday, January 16th by 11:59. As you've heard a couple people mention, we want you all to represent yourself the best that you possibly can in this application. So we would recommend that you start before 11:30 on Wednesday, January 16th. Give yourself some time so that you can actively reflect. And we're going to give you some things at the end to kind of help you think about that along the way, but give this application time. You want to give yourself what you need to make sure you're doing the best possible. After we go through the application process and we review those, we will then start going into different stages of the application process. And you will be invited to each of these, so it will be very clear as to whether you've been invited to the next stage or not.
The first one we have is group process days, and those will be February 5th, 7th, and 9th. That's when we'll have you in a group process stage where you'll have an opportunity to work with those around you. We'll be able to see how you interact with others and how you do as well as you continue to figure out whether this is right for you. Following that up, there will be another invitation sent out to you for the individual process. At that point, those dates will be January 19th, 20th, and 21st. And the point of that is, so at that point, we've seen that you work well in a group setting. We want to get to know a little more about who you are on a one-on-one basis. Who are you separate from others when we get you and we're able to talk to you about everything that goes into this process. And as you can see, this happens somewhat quickly. The ball really gets rolling in January. And in essentially less than a month, you've done all the interview portions. So we really hit the ground running. When it comes to these things. Following up, after the application has been presented and you've gone through all the interview stages, an offer to join our team will be sent out to you. You will be reached out to, and you have until March 1st at 11:59 to accept that offer. So at that point, we will know what is going into our staffs in the coming year on March 2nd. So we'll need to have your acceptance or declining of that position by that date. We'll have an RA business meeting where all the staffs will be together. We'll talk what it looks like going into the summer, talk about some of our training aspects, all of that, on March 26th from 5 to 6:30. And then for the spring training, we'll start doing that on Wednesdays during combo hours. And those specific dates we'll give out to you later. Really.